The spider mites have returned. A month ago, I thought I totally nailed repotting my giant King Anthurium. Wow, I filled it up with the correct amount of soil. But as plant parents know, these guys have a way of keeping us humble. The spider mites returned because I failed. So let's break down what went sideways and what you can learn from my mistakes. Oh my God! Of course I make mistakes. Plant parents always make mistakes. Welcome back to my jungle, everyone. And I made a ton of mistakes when repotting my giant King Anthurium, which I always say is my favorite plant in my plant kingdom. But then again, I tend to neglect those that I love, I guess. That's a really awful thing to say. But let's take him down because, man, oh man. Yeah, I totally had some slip ups here and there, but you folks will be able to learn from my mistakes. Oh man, this baby is a heavy one. And I'll tell you what, my plant kingdom would not be the same without him. Woof. I don't know how much this thing weighs, but I'll tell you what, you get quite the workout moving around these big plants. So let's set them down and take a look around. And what we'll see is Kevin's problem number one. That is, of course, the fact that, well, the spider mites have returned. The spider mites returned because I failed. I failed to take into consideration the fact that I should be watering this plant more. This is going to be such an embarrassment to admit, but since I repotted this plant about a month ago, I haven't really watered it. Now, mind you, when I did repot it though, I gave it a really heavy watering, and this is a big pot. And so I just assumed that everything was going to be fine, but it wasn't, even though there was a huge humidifier, and there is a huge humidifier right next to it, which did help. But let's keep in mind, spider mites will appear for three factors. One, either there's a lack of humidity, two, really high heat, or three, the fact that, you know, you're just not really taking care of the plant, letting it dry out like that. Yeah, I failed in all instances, and that's my fault. But the plant itself, aside from the spider mite issue, which, as you can see, there's a lot of webbing in there and on the leaves. In fact, before I took it down from its perch, as you can see in this video, you can see the spider mite webbing even more so on the leaves up there. And spider mites were an issue before I repotted this plant because, as you'll recall, I took a minute to actually stop and notice the fact that there are spider mites and took care of it then. We can also use this just by itself, which is Captain Jack's Dead Bug Spray. And this works wonders because it's kind of like the mix all together, and you won't have to add in any other ingredients or anything like that. This time around, things will be different. At least I hope so. For my sake, well, and this plant's sake, especially for this plant's sake. But this time around, we're going to do things a little bit differently. We are going to first start off by watering it, not directly with a neem oil, but instead we're going to use Azamax, as I almost like drink it. So Azamax is really important, and it's good for pests, especially with a plant like this. So Azamax is like a concentrated version of neem oil, except it's much stronger than neem oil. And what it does is basically it allows for the plant to absorb this stuff, whatever is in Azamax. I know it's derived from neem, but what it does is you can either spray it on the foliage or you can mix it in with the watering and then pour it into the soil. And what happens then is the roots will absorb the Azamax. And then when a pest like a spider mite or a mealybug tries to bite into the plant, what happens is that it absorbs the Azamax and it kills off the pest, but also prevents them from breeding, from having more plant pest babies, and stops them from killing your plant basically, which is exactly what we want. So not only am I going to spray down the foliage afterwards, but first I'm going to water it in. So with an Azamax, if you're watering it in with a 1 gallon thing of water, like I have here, you're going to pour in about 2 to 4 tablespoons. Now, 2 if it's just a light infestation, but 4 if it's going to be a larger infestation. We're going to go with a larger infestation just to be safe. And so I have it mixed in here with my water, and I also have in some fish fertilizer like I normally do with my plant watering, especially with my alocasia, my anthurium, my philodendron, basically all of my plants that fall under the Araceae family, like the ones just mentioned there. So I put in Alaska Fish Fertilizer 511. I've never tried any other fish fertilizer brands. If you have and you found success with any of them, please let me know in the comments below, because I'm always curious to try different types of product. And the reason why I go with Alaska Fish Fertilizer 511 is because it was recommended to me by my buddy Todd, who owns the Bronze Petal here in Denver. And he's the one who actually gave me this King Anthurium, this Anthurium veitchii, when it was just a little baby plant. And now it's all big and grown up and massive now. But if you take a look at the before and after picture of what it looked like as a baby, it's kind of crazy to see how far this plant has come. And the reason why Todd recommended Alaska Fish Fertilizer 511, or any fish fertilizer for that matter, and mixing it in with your plant's watering, is because it allows for the plant's foliage to grow huge. I mean, mammoth, like what you're seeing here. In fact, I was skeptical at first until I tried it. And when I did, this plant and my other plants, like my Monstera Thai Constellation, which I recently did an updated version on repotting it. Take a look at the video up in the corner here, because you'll get to see how massive these plants can become if you pour in a little bit of fish poop into their watering, which is insane. But I kid you not, within like 1 to 2 weeks after doing this, the plants just ballooned in size. Not only did it make their foliage healthier, but it made just the plant's entire being, its root system, much larger, healthier, and happier. So this is what happened last time when I watered the King Anthurium after repotting it, is that because it's in a much larger pot, the plant hasn't seen much of the water come out of its pot, which is why I didn't water it as frequently as I should have. But here's the thing, is that I upscaled it to a pot size that was probably, gosh, I would say 5 to 7 inches larger than normally what you would go with. But the reason being for that is because with Anthurium, especially like a King Anthurium or a Queen Anthurium, if you put them in larger pot sizes after they've matured, like mine has, you will see these plants balloon in size and get these massive big leaves. In fact, the longest leaf on this plant is 33 inches long. And it wouldn't have become that large in size had I not upscaled its pot size the way I did. And here's the thing why I know that this plant is much happier and healthier in this larger pot after the repotting is because you'll notice I mentioned about 2 new leaves that were growing in. Since repotting it, within an hour, already one of the new leaves, one of the pup leaves, has already started to shoot out in a different direction. So it's a clear indicator that this plant definitely needed a larger pot. Well, I finally feel like I did something right, because those 2 brand new leaves grew in beautifully. Take a look at them. They are stunning. And that all happened during a repot, nonetheless. So go me for once. But here's the thing, even though we did the whole Azamax into the watering, I still went ahead and I sprayed down the foliage with Azamax, let it dry, and then wiped it down. So that's just an extra preventative measure. And I'll, of course, do this, both of them, with the next 2 to 3 waterings until I notice that there isn't any webbing or any issues related to spider bites. So the next thing I did was an important thing. I had it, when I repotted it, put in support sticks, or a climbing pole for that matter. Both serve the same function. So I went ahead and I put in those support sticks. Really easy, just gardening sticks. And I take some zip ties and I put them around, not tightly, but enough to hold them up. And what this does is that it allows for the King Anthurium to give brighter, receive brighter light exposure. It also helps with root development, which is a great thing. And it also just helps make it look a lot nicer too, if I do say so myself. You can tell the difference between when it was just kind of sagging down, looking for light around, and those long petioles and stems just kind of were going all over the place. I did this before with the King Anthurium when I had it in its last pot, and it really helped out a ton. So the last thing we're going to do is an important step, because you'll notice here that 2 giant flowers have grown in on the King Anthurium. And if you've seen my past Anthurium episodes, you know the one thing I am not a fan of is when flowers grow in, simply because they take away energy from new leaf growth. I'm not a collector in terms of wanting to breed plants and cross hybridize them. So I just tend to get rid of them. And that's exactly what we're going to do here right now. Because, oh man, even though one of them has fully bloomed, we are going to get rid of it regardless. So I just simply chop them at the base and get rid of them, and that will allow for healthier root growth and also allow for the new leaves that will eventually grow in to come in. And I know that this plant is starting to pop out a new leaf, especially after a good watering. So yeah, it's kind of crazy that that is what you get from it. So I still haven't looked into exactly how you go about hybridizing them. Maybe one day in the future I will, but that's the way it is right now. So boo to those flowers. But anyways, I want to thank you guys for sticking around for another one of my plenty videos. And if you haven't already, please like this video, subscribe to my channel, and hit that notification bell for more fun and interesting plenty content just like this. And if you're a fan of this King Anthurium and how I got its leaves to be this massive, take a look at this video up here in the corner, because that is a great breakdown on my secret tips for getting your King Anthurium to really turn into a king. Until then, I'll see you guys in the next video.